Hey guys, this is Tracy Rolfing from Tracy's Top Claws, and I am going to do a mani. I really wanted to do this during the daytime so I had better lighting. How appropriate. Because we are doing Flag You're It for Election Day. So, we are going to start out. I've trimmed my nails, I filed them, I buffed them, I pushed back my cuticles. One of my favorite tools to use is this rubber-tipped cuticle pusher. It is great. It doesn't feel so harsh when it's pushing, and then as I buff, it gets rid of any excess skin that was there from the cuticle. The first thing you should do, always use your alcohol prep pad. Doesn't matter which prep pad you use. You can go to Walgreens, you can order some off eBay. Alcohol is alcohol. I always keep extra prep pads because I never use up an entire set at once. I know I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna use it again another day. I'm gonna need extra prep pads, so I just stock up on them. I'm going to clean my nail bed. I like to rub around my cuticle, make sure that if there's anything there, I'm getting it off. All the way up and down the nail. I even push back my cuticle a little bit as I'm pressing to wipe it. You don't want to use any lotions or oils prior to doing your nails for at least an hour. Do your fingertips really well because you'll be handling these strips. I'm going to try to show you a couple different ways that I apply strips that will hopefully help you as you apply them. There's always a little tear that gets you going. I am going to pull out and set aside the strips I know I'm going to need. Big one is always for my toes, so I save it. The next size is usually good for dividing between my thumbs. I know that I'm going to do an accent nail of something else, so I'm not worried about pulling that aside. The pinky, this tiny little one, is actually good for my little toes. So this size is good for my two pinkies. And then I usually use this guy here. See how he kind of bows out in the middle? He's good for my middle finger. Trying to decide. I think for my ring finger, I'm going to use my accent nail. So I will use this guy for my index. And then, like I always say, the hardest part of the entire application process is putting these guys back in, because you don't want to leave them sitting out while you're giving yourself a mani. It's polished. Even though it has a clear strip over the top of it, it will start to dry. And I mean, I have found that it takes them a while to dry, but why waste them? Get your money's worth. Make them last. Save them for another day. I usually take a long cuticle stick and I'll push these down. Just kind of get that in there. So you always want to start working on your pinkies down to your thumbs, because your thumbs are your tools. I start by taking the clear strip off. Hopefully you can see that. You can apply strips several ways. I have seen people, they start off by taking it off. I've done it this way several times. I kind of put it back on the same side I pulled it off, like a T, anchoring it. When I was first starting out applying them, this was easier for me to line it up and get it straight. So feel like that's a little too close. These are very soft. Some of them are stiffer, some of them are kind of soft. I don't know why that is that way. This looks good. So, one of the best things that you can do, whether you're dealing with a print of nail art, glitter, or solid, anchor it at the base, right at your cuticle. And then give it a little tug. See how you can see it's being pulled? Don't be afraid to give it a good little tug, because that's going to help take out some of the slack and help you avoid bubbling along the sides. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. I can take my little scissors and I can just cut right there. Push that over the end. Here, I'll go ahead and set this down for now. And I will go ahead and file this. Some people think you should wait till it's cured. I've done that, but to be honest with you, for me, in my experience, maybe with the shapes of my nails, I tend to get more bubbling on the end if I let them fold over and cure that way. That's why I say it's just trial and error. I mean, our nail shape is unique as we are. Some of us have curved nails. I noticed that like on my thumb and my index, I have much more of a curve, where these others are really more straight and flat. So I'm gonna take the other half because I wanna get my money's worth. I'm gonna use this whole set. I line it up over here, right up next to my cuticle. Take that off, press it down here. I lift it a little bit and I give it, you can see how it's pulling because it's pulling on the sides already. Give it a tug. See how it's lifting up over here because I'm taking the slack out. And then I just smooth it down. Now I don't need to save the rest of this, but you could. You have little toenails. You could clip that, get a little bit of that. I'm not gonna need that. So I'm gonna go over the edge, push over the edge, even though I have a little bit here, but I'm gonna clean that up. So I'm just gonna start with the sides a little bit. You'll just be able to pull that away. I usually go right under the edge. Take my thumbnail. This is why you do your thumbs last. And I'm just gonna pull away this excess. All I did was press my thumbnail between the nail and the skin around it, and that's it. All right, I'm gonna skip my ring finger. I'm gonna move on to my middle because I'm gonna use an accent nail on my ring finger. Take off my clear. Now this is a way that some other people apply. So you're not handling the whole strip as much. Start to peel it off. Hold it here so it doesn't come off. Pull this tab. Sometimes, most of the time it comes off 100% clean. Every once in a while you get like a little piece. So instead, I'm gonna leave this on here. I'm gonna fold this back. See that? Line that up here. Sometimes I just use my other finger just to give it a tap. I'm gonna pull this off a little. I'm gonna give it a little bit of tug. You can see how it's stretching. Go over the end. I go down the sides. I'm gonna have a little excess, but that's okay. I can clean that up. It's not a big deal. This time, instead of cutting, I'm just gonna use my thumbnail. I'm gonna go under. These are very soft. They're like butter. And then you don't have to worry about these wrinkles. They're gonna come right out. You'll straighten it out a little bit. I'm gonna use this other side, but you can straighten it out and get it clean. See? I'm gonna set that down for a second. So like if I knew I'm not gonna use this other half, this would be a good way. I'm not gonna use the other half today. This would be a good way for me to use half and then store it. I go over the end. I'm gonna take my thumbnail and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push the skin around the nail away from the nail. And then you'll just be able to go in and just pull it away. Now these little pieces that you pull away, make sure that you get rid of them, because if you're applying another strip, so like I feel like there's like a bubble right here, and it was tiny. So this rubber cuticle pusher was just perfect to push that tiny bubble out. And no one else may have seen it because maybe I just saw it, but now I know it's not there and I don't have to worry about it lifting. I'm gonna come over here to the other side. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it right off. I'm gonna put it on this one. This cuticle is not symmetrical, which bothers me sometimes. I'm gonna push my cuticle down on this side so that the strip lays down. And I mean, you're not pushing so hard that you're hurting yourself. You shouldn't have to push that hard. You're just smoothing out. And most of the time when I perforate it like that, I don't even have to hardly go back and file it because it's just come away so clean. Like I'll go back, just do it lightly, but most of the time there's not really much to file. And I'm gonna do my index finger. Most of my application just has a lot to do with what finger I'm doing. So like you can see this one's at more of an angle. So I always give it a little push down. And these are really soft, so they fold up as I try to put them on. Oh, see that one stuck to my other finger. All right, I just scoot that out. Smooth it. Go underneath the edge. See, there's a little bit of a wrinkle there, so I'm gonna lightly give it a tug. I could see just a little bit of a bubble over here, but I got it. And you will just learn, based off your nail shape, which of your nails you'll need to do that with, if you need to do it at all. But if you have noticed that you're kind of prone to bubbling, try that. Just pressing it down here to anchor it and then giving it a tug. So there's not much here to pinch off. And sometimes when it's not a whole lot, these little cuticle trimmers, I mean, even though tools aren't required, some tools just make the job a little bit easier, you know? Especially if you're at home and you have them nearby to use. If you're not wanting to lug all these things to the car, You know, do them on the way somewhere. Obviously not while you're driving, with someone else's. And that's it. I'm gonna go over here to this side. I'm gonna push down the cuticle on that side. And I'm gonna line it up a little more on that side. And I can see it's gonna bubble a little bit because my index fingers have more of a curve. So I just gave it a tug, smoothed it out from the center down the sides and down the tip. And then sometimes, I don't want to use my nail for that. Like, I don't know if it's those extras like that, almost like what becomes a hangnail, the type of skin around the cuticle that becomes a hangnail is sometimes extra. If you don't see that when you're filing and buffing and all that good stuff, I get those sometimes. Just gonna push right underneath. Take my excess, just put it off to the side. Gonna use my rubber cuticle pusher. You can watch me do it with my left hand. I'm not left-handed, so makes it nice and fun and awkward. All right, I'm not gonna do this one yet because I want to do accent nails on my ring finger. And I think I'm going to use Bloody Gorgeous. So some of these are halves that I have left over from the last time I used them. I'm going to need probably these two. And the last time I used these was for 4th of July, and here we are with Election Day, tomorrow, November 3rd. I'm gonna start by peeling off the clear. Now, I don't want to use the black. I don't want to use the ombre part. I just want the red. So I'm going to line it up to where only the red, I know it's oversized, I know it. Only the red is on my nail. So I am just going to use the cuticle pusher to just really press it onto my nail. Because I know I'm going to be taking excess off. So I will probably start up here. I go slow. Sometimes if you tear too fast, it will perforate not around it, but back here, and you'll get a big white tip on the edge. And it just looks like your nail's all chipped. And then I'm gonna go to the sides. And I'm just gonna press it away from my nail. And sometimes I think that the wood cuticle pusher might be better. I think it might give you more control because with our thumbnails being curved, it doesn't make a perfect straight line. I mean, they do a good job, but it's always an option. And then I'm gonna just smooth this And I'm just gonna feel for where my cuticle is. I'm just gonna push it away. Right against my cuticle. Can you see? And I mean, that cuticle is gonna kind of bounce back a little bit after we get this all done. They're sticking good. And I'm just gonna have to clean up a little bit. Still did a little tiny bit of weight, but that's okay. I'm gonna even it out and file it. You can see how it's kind of curling away. And that one just fell right out. And now I'm gonna do the Bloody Gorgeous on the other side. Take off my clear. Take off the tab. And I'm just gonna make sure that none of the black ombre is on the nail. And it's even a little crooked, but it's big enough that it's still covering everything. So here we are back again, awkward with the left hand, but gonna push that. Go right around where my cuticle is and just push. I'm going to fold this one over just a tiny bit more. I like to perforate the corners first, so you're kind of wrapping them around the corners, and then I do the center. I'm just gonna press the skin away from the nail. Just pull it away. I'm gonna find my cuticle. I'm just gonna push. And really, instead of just like stabbing myself, all I'm doing is really just pushing my cuticle away from the nail. I'm not digging down, I'm just pressing away. Here I'll do a little more dig on the side, especially because that was a tiny piece we needed to make sure we got. I'm just gonna pull. See, that one came across really clean. That looks like it just perfectly fit my nail. Now, on my thumbnails. Thumbnails it's always a tight fit. So what I like to do when I know it's gonna be a tight fit and I don't want to end up perforating too much, I just kind of fold it in half These scissors are curved, so I really want to have it as even as possible with no curve. Remember, we took the clear coat off first because that is a pain to get off once you cut it. I mean, this is obviously a little bit of a struggle getting it off, but it's not as bad as if the clear coat was on there. All right. This might be a close call, so I'm gonna give it, oh, see, look at that. There's a piece of glitter polish stuck on one of my fingers. That is exactly why you gotta watch out for them little pieces. Okay, so I'm giving a little bit of a tug. I want it to stretch and fit my whole nail. I want to tug evenly. I don't want to put too much of a stretch on just one particular area, because that's usually when you will tear it. So I'm going, remember, be careful when you peel it back off. Your fingers are going to be very dry from the alcohol prep pad, and it can tear. On my thumbs, sometimes I like to line up on one side and then go across. And I like to go across where the excess is usually facing me, like here, because it's more awkward to do this. And then I just press. I just go over the end. I'll just kind of dig to pull it away. And I don't go like real hard with the file. I just kind of light, you know? When you have big chunky glitter, sometimes when you do this, you'll see that big chunky glitter as you file it can pull more away than you really wanted it to. So just go easy. And we'll take our last piece, peel it off, get rid of our tab. I can already feel like it's going to need to be stretched more of a long way. So I'm going to tug along the side, the middle, and on this side, and just a little bit side to side. And then I'm going to start here. See that one was sticking to me. Good. I don't like how far it is from my cuticle. So I'm going to slowly peel it back off, because you can feel when it's really gripping. So you want to be gentle. I need to get a better grip on this. Right up. And that's what's nice about these, because you can, if you're having one of those days where it's taken you 6 tries, they're forgiving. They're going to let you have 6 tries. I'm going to pull this one down a little. This one is not lining up the way I like, so I'm going to go up against it this way. And then just go down the sides. There's excess. See, it just barely went to the tip of my nail. I knew it would be a close call. So this is where you have to be careful, because this nail, it's not wet, I can touch it, but if I press too hard, it will start to push the strip up away because I'm putting too much pressure on it. So this is where you take your cuticle stick and you just use it, and it might take you a little more time than it would with your thumbnail. And that's okay. We're gonna file that. Let me get rid of I'm just gonna have to trim this up. And if you have that little bit of extra that pushes up against the cuticle, push that cuticle back. Get that little bit of extra space. Sometimes you can just run that file right along the edge. There we go. All right, now I'm just a hair away from the edge on this one. I'm really not worried about it because my thumbnails aren't the same length anyway. I'm only gonna have these on for about a week. There's just too many manis that I want to get in this season. So there you have it. See, like this little piece right here. I'm just gonna clip it. That's what these are good for. It's just that little bit that if you didn't get it now, it could cause problems later. So there you go. Flag, you're it. So if you have any questions about application, anything else, message me. I'm happy to help you. I love these. I want you to love them as much as I do. I mean, I've been wearing them almost a year. They're just amazing. I haven't come across anyone yet that if they had any problems that we couldn't fix it. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that this video helped you. It might have been a little long because I was trying to show you different ways to apply so you can try them and see what works best for you. You know, we're all unique, and someone's style doesn't always work for someone else. So thanks again, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.